Okay, so I want to talk to you for a moment about oDesk and what it did for me. I was looking at my dissertation, and I'll tell you what point I was at in my dissertation. I I had all my pages numbered, right? So starting with number one, number two, and I had the whole thing written, and I had the thing defended and approved and ready to go. So everything was written the way it's supposed to. The tables were more or less where they needed to be, but this last minute formatting of the table of contents needed to be done. I also needed to have the 2-inch margins on the top of all these pages, like the top of acknowledgments has to have a 2-inch margin, but the second page of acknowledgments has to have the 1-inch margin again. Oh, and I had also set up my 1.5 left-hand margin, which was required in the summer of 2014. But so I needed the margins to be fixed. I needed the table of contents to be done. And I needed the pagination to be done where you don't number, you have a first blank page that's not numbered, then you start with small centered Roman numerals on the bottom, but you don't show them on page one or on the second page, but you do start showing the small Roman numerals on the third. So you know what I'm talking about. And I found out from other people in the cohort that these last formatting things took some of them anywhere from 5 hours for the experienced person to an all-nighter for maybe less experienced people. So anywhere from 5 to 15 hours is what I was hearing this could take you. And in my case, I had lots of stuff in my table of contents that I was planning on hand typing. But I had, look at all these appendices. Every one of these appendices required a 2-inch margin. So anyway, it looked like a tough job. So I thought, let's get someone from oDesk to do it. And I was doubtful, you know. I was like, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to do it right, and it's not going to be worth my time. But that did not happen. I typed up the job. It took me about 2 hours to type up the task, and I typed it in detail, telling them exactly where we needed the 2-inch margins, exactly how we needed the pagination to happen. And I posted a job. I also did a walkthrough video like what I'm doing right now, so that people could watch me talking them through my dissertation, kind of like what I was doing before with you guys. I noted the skill required. It needs some Microsoft Word skills. I said that I wanted a worker who had gotten at least a 4.5, an average of 4.5 out of 5 stars on their previous work. I wanted them fluent in English. I wanted them to have worked at least 1,000 hours on oDesk. So that's quite a bit of work to have done on through oDesk. And I think the person I hired actually had only done 800. Let's see. And then I also asked a couple of questions. It allowed me to post a couple of questions so that you could have them write a cover letter. The people that want your job, they can write a cover letter if you want. I decided not to make them write a cover letter. I just wanted to know, had they done these things before? And I wanted them to respond to their experience with doing custom margins, doing tables of contents, doing the pagination stuff. And so then, as you can see, within a day, I had 14 applicants, and I was able to look at their skills. And I'm not going to click it open because I don't want to show you their names. But I'm just telling you, was quite pleased. And then at the end of the job, so the particular person I got had a money guarantee tied to him. So there's different kinds of freelancers. I think some of them you don't get a money back guarantee with, but some of them you do for some reason. It could be that they give more money to oDesk when they do the jobs. I'm not sure how it works exactly, but every freelancer does have a rating, and they do self-assess their own English abilities. They can take tests on Word and PowerPoint and things like that, and so you can learn things about them. They have like a portfolio that you can look at, kind of. So you get to pick who you hire, and it's really easy to hire them. All right, so I'm like really rambling, but there's one other thing I want to show you, and that's the work diary. And I'm going to pause you while I open this up because I don't want you to see the name of my freelancer, because I don't think it's fair to put his name on this video, even though he did a fabulous job. I'm going to go ahead and pause you while I kind of hide his name, and then we're going to just see this work diary and how it works. So what I'm looking at right now is a screenshot that was taken by my freelancer inside of oDesk. And what he has to do while he's working is he has to take screenshots of what he's doing at particular moments during his working. I don't know how it works. Maybe it's one or two screenshots a day, one or two screenshots an hour. I'm not sure how it works, but you can actually see those screenshots. So I'm looking at one in particular right now. I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so now I'm actually looking at the work diary screenshots, just a bunch of them, while he was working on my paper. So here we're looking at Monday. Um, this is probably his time. He was over in Pakistan, and so we're looking, or maybe it's my time, I'm not sure. But we're looking at his work that he did on Monday, so you can actually look at all these different screenshots if you want to explore what he was doing at that moment. And so it's a way to kind of make you feel comfortable that they were working on what they should have been working on, and you kind of get to peek over their shoulder a little bit. It's a way to kind of give you a window on their work, which I think is really cool. Although I rarely actually look at these screenshots. To me, what's important is the final result. So, once he did his work, he was in communication with me. You can choose to communicate through oDesk itself, and you do that through this messaging board. There's also this tool right here, notifications, and so it's kind of like Facebook. It'll let you know when the freelancer can post things, and this will let you know the most recent things that have happened in oDesk. And once the job is finished, you communicate with your freelancer, and maybe they'll email you, you know, the work that they've done. In this case, the most recent freelancer that I used messaged me and attached in Dropbox a copy of the most up-to-date document. I was able to check it. Once I decided it was okay, I closed the job. And once you close the job, then you can decide, do you give them, how do you rate them on 1 to 5? And you can give specific feedback about the worker. And I think it's good to give really specific feedback so that future people know what to expect. And then you can give them a bonus if you want to. And so I was so pleased I gave a bonus to my most recent hire. And trying to think if there's anything else. And then you'll be billed at the end of the week. And honestly, I can't remember how the billing works. I can't remember if oDesk has my PayPal number or if they have a credit card on file. I can't remember how I did it. But somewhere at the end of the week, probably around Saturday or Sunday of this week, I will either be told to pay oDesk again for the work that has been done, or they will still have something on file for me. So it works just like a Amazon type thing, except you'll be billed later. You'll be billed in a few days. And oDesk does take a little cut out of that. So like if when I tipped, I think they took about maybe 4% out of that. I don't know. When you set it up, you can read the fine print, figure it out, but it's totally worth it. It was such a time saver, and I couldn't be more pleased. So, all right, I think I've sort of explained it enough so that you might know what to expect.